Shalom. It's your brother Malcolm. I'm coming at you another lesson. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of all Israel set up on earth today, whether you receive that or not. Salutations to the Akim, the confusion of face Akim, that are out there doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. Just watched a video, Zero Dark 100, of Brother Nathanyel. If you don't know who Brother Nathanyel is, he's an Orthodox Russian Christian, whatever they call the Orthodox Church of Russia, whatever. And he grew up Jewish, and he pretty much admits that Judaism is garbage, it's a lie, but what he's not admitting and what he's not telling you is that the Jewish people are Edomites. He's not making mention of the Edomites, and and normally his videos are very entertaining and very revealing. I've actually watched his videos and learned a lot of history and did research to prove a lot of points in the Bible and the things that we say are true. And I mean, in the men of GMS. All right. Because he fits the Psalm 64 and 8 all the time. Which is the main reason why I'm watching, which I would suggest that you watch him, because he will tell on himself. He'll tell, and he'll give you something that you can go and use as evidence or information to edify with. But he said something about the Jewish people being racist and that the 12 tribes of Israel that are mentioned in Revelation, the 7th chapter, is no more. All right. And but there's not a scripture anywhere to substantiate that. The whole chapter is dedicated to them coming back. And you cannot identify the 12 tribes as Jewish. All right. Period. All right. Judaism has nothing to do with the 12 tribes. Israelis are Jewish. The 12 tribes of Israel, the Israelites, each tribe has its own identity. One of the ways, and let's prove that immediately before we go into this lesson, by going to the book of Romans, the 11th chapter. This is Romans 11 and 1. And it reads, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. So the 12 tribes have not been casted away. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So Paul told you that he was an Israelite. He didn't say he was Jewish. He said he was an Israelite, okay, of the tribe of Benjamin. Now the people who referred to themselves as Jewish were actually Idumeans, Herodians, Edomites, so-called white people, Romans, who converted, and they were forced to convert by John Hyrcanus. You can find that history of that forced conversion when they were losing wars, because they were at war in the Maccabees with the Maccabees, and the Maccabees put their foot in the Edomites' butt, and the Romans and the Greeks, and a lot of them were forced to. John Hyrcanus made the horrible mistake of making them follow the law, statutes, and commandments, which it wasn't time for that. Okay, but he did. All right, and there's documented history to prove it. You can find it in the Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, chapter 13, right around the 9th chapter, starting at the first verse. You'll find it there. And yeah, so let me read it out of this book. Who is Esau Edom? All right, I'm going to read page 8, okay? And it reads, Herod was a shrewd and unscrupulous tyrant and was despised by the Judites because he was an Idumean. He was an Edomite, a so-called white man, all right? And not one of their own stock, all right? Herod hated the people of Judah, and one of his first acts was to execute 45 of the leaders of the old aristocracy to eliminate any rivalry for leadership. Basically, he got rid of the Levite priests, that last of that Maccabean line, because the Maccabees were Levites, man. All right, they were a family of priests. Okay, and I'm going to read you an account in the Apocrypha when Judas Maccabee's nephew was the last of their family was killed because he trusted in his enemy. He trusted in those Edomites, man. All right, and it says having secured a kingship, Herod next destroyed the priestly line of the Hyrcanus, right? And that's right. Hyrcanus is what the Maccabees. Okay, the last man Antiochus, who taunted Herod with his Idumean origin and asserted the kingdom should fall on one of the royal family. Finally, he murdered Aristobulus, the last of the Arianic high priests. Herod sought to affiliate himself with the high priesthood through Miriam Aristobulus, sister of the daughter of the priest. And this is how Esau came into power many times over. This is also how he came into power when he in Europe, when he regained Europe back during the Dark Ages. He started actually marrying the women of the ruling class Israelites, the Moors and things that were all throughout Europe, man. Because they're not the royalty of Europe. You know, when you go back to Richard the Lionheart and all those people were so-called Negroes, man. All right. Esau likes to control the narrative. Okay. Eliminating history that exposes him and eliminating things that tell the truth. Or he'll mix lies with the truth, man. Or he'll just simply put his face in a place where he wasn't. And this is why people are so confused about history. But everything that I'm telling you, you can research on your own. Let's go to the book of Matthew. And this is being done off the spirit, man, because I opened my eyes and looked at my notices, and that was the first video that I saw. And, in the spirit, I just had to respond to it, man, because it was such a blasphemous lie, talking about the 12 tribes that I know more. And that, and that's the reason why the Jewish people are in trouble, because of racism and all that. The Bible is clearly racist from beginning to end, man. And it's all about the Israelite, not the Jewish. The Jewish are imposter wicked people. This is Matthew 2:16. And then it reads, Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth and sent forth and slew all the children in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof for 2 years old and under, according to the time in which he had diligently inquired the wise man. Because Herod didn't want, he was trying to kill Yahushua at that time. The same way that the Egyptians, that the Pharaoh was trying to kill Moses many centuries before, because he didn't want the Israelites to raise up for their leader, for their savior, to raise up, man. And the Lord and Yahweh always sent saviors for us, okay? And this time he's going to send saviors again, but the saviors are going to come from that 144,000. All right? They're going to be raised up to be the saviors of Israel, man. Okay? And that's just what it is. And he's trying to eliminate the 144,000 and then trying to allude to the fact that they are Jewish. No, you can't be from the tribe of Asher and be Jewish. You cannot be an Issacharite and be Jewish. All right? Jewish has nothing to do with being an Israelite. That is a made-up religion of man. All right? Which these Edomites, these so-called white people, have gathered themselves unto. Okay? And when you go to Revelation, the 12th chapter, and you read about that dragon, that red dragon, that's those Idumeans, those Herodians, those Romans. Okay? Same people. And what were they trying to do? They were trying to destroy the Lord, man. Let's read a little bit up there. This is Revelation, the 12th chapter. And it says, And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her a head of crowns of 12 stars. All right. That's that image that, these wicked Catholics use as for Mary. All right. But that woman is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. That's who the stars are representation of. Okay. The woman is talking about Mary, but the 12 stars is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what it's referring to. All right. And out of that 12, and the Lord came out of the royal line, which was Judah. All right. And she being with child, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. That's the beast system, which today is NATO, all right, and the EU, basically, which was born out of the Roman Empire, which the Herodians were a part of. Okay? And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. That was Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. He drew that third. Okay? Because when this happened, the rest of the tribes were already over here in America. Another thing that Brother Nathanyel failed to leave out of his video. The rest of the tribes, the Northern Kingdom, was already here in America. Okay, so the way he was talking about it is as if they were all still there in Judea when all this went down. And were there some of the Northern Kingdom still scattered among, the different lands over there at the time of the Lord? Yeah, there was a few, but the bulk of the tribes, the Northern Kingdom, were here in the Americas already, man. All right, they had been separated from the Southern Kingdom for thousands of years at that time. That's just why they looked at each other as strangers, man. All right, and a lot of them to this day still do. They don't acknowledge that they're the same people, man. All right, until the Lord forces them to, and that's exactly the time we're coming into, man. All right, because Esau knows this to be true. The historians know this to be true, but they're not sharing it with the rest of the world. Only we are, and this is why they hate us so, and why they get so angry, because we're screwing up their narrative, their lie, man. Okay? Let's read the account now in the Maccabees. This is First Maccabees, the 16th chapter. All right, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. Okay, and basically this is the account of the death of Simon Maccabees, the Hyrcanus. He said he got them Edomites, the Herodians, put an end to the Hyrcanus line, man. So why? And then the Romans set up Edomites, Idumeans, over, and they converted to, because they were Jewish, and they were from this time period that I'm about to read about. Okay. This is First Maccabees, the 16th chapter, starting in verse 11. It said, moreover, in the plain of Jericho was Ptolemy, a son of Abulus, made captain. All right. And he had the abundance of silver and gold, for he was the high priest's son-in-law. We just read about him in on page 8 in this book of Who is Esau Edom? Esau telling on himself. So he's talking about this Israelite, okay, who had this Greek name. Okay, Aristobulus. All right, that was his name, and he was a grandson of Simon Maccabee, man. All right, and then that Idumean married his sister, and that's how he legitified himself and said he was a ruler over the Jews now, because he was Jewish and he was married to the granddaughter of one of the Maccabees, man. But the people were mocking him because they were like, "You're not our people. You're not our ruler. You're a damn white boy, so to speak." Okay. All right, but anyway, let's get back to what it says in verse 13. Wherefore his heart being lifted up, he thought to get the country to himself, and thereupon consulted deceitfully against Simon and his sons to destroy them. All right. So Ptolemy, I said that wrong. This Aristobulus married the granddaughter of John. He wasn't an Israelite. Slip of the tongue. All right, he was actually a Ptolemy. All right, but he wanted to take the place, and this is what Esau does. It says, your enemy would try to stand up in your place. Okay. It says, now Simon was visiting. All right, let me go back to 13. Wherefore his heart being lifted up, he thought to get the country to himself, thereupon consulting deceitfully against Simon and his sons to destroy them. Now Simon was visiting the cities were in the country and were taking care for the good ordering of them, at which time he came down himself to Jericho with his sons, Mattathias and Judas. And in the 167th year, in this 11th month, called Sabbath. And when the son of Abulus receiving them deceitfully into a little hole called Dachus, which had built, made them a great banquet. Howbeit he had hid men there. So he hid men in a room. They set up this room to have this great banquet of food. All right. But he built like a trap door. All right. And there were armed men with swords and weapons inside that room, just hiding, just waiting to get a signal. Okay. And it said, howbeit he hid men there. So when Simon and his sons had drunk largely, so when they were, full of wine, when you're a little tipsy, all right, Ptolemy and his men rose up and took their weapons and came upon Simon. So the men that were sitting there with him, you're not sitting there at the table with your sword strapped to you. You hang it over the back of your chair, or they hang it up on a wall across the room, or whatever. All right. So they got up. So when they got up and took their weapons, that was the signal for the men to come out and attack them when they were unarmed. Okay. That's the Edomite. That's what Esau does, man. You see how they shoot Jake down. They shoot down so-called Negroes and Latinos in the streets all the time, man. Completely unarmed and helpless, man. You're handcuffed and you're still getting beat up and getting shot. This is what they do. Because it's Esau, the so-called white man, is a coward by nature, man. All right. And it says, and when Simon and his sons had drunk largely, Ptolemy and his men rose up and took their weapons and came upon Simon into the banquet place and slew him and his 2 sons and certain of his servants. And which doing he committed a great treachery and recompensed evil for good. Then Ptolemy wrote these things and sent to the king that he should send him a host to aid him, and he would deliver him the countryside. And he sent others to Gaza to kill John, and unto the tribunes he sent letters to come unto him, that he might give them silver and gold and rewards. But John John Maccabee, basically was aware of what they had done and got at them. So when they tried to come for John messed them up, man. Because he found out what had happened to his brother and his nephews, man. But anyway, let's wrap this up, okay? Because with this subject, man, I could go on for hours and hours. But I'll just wrap this up. The point being made, referring back to the video that Brother Nathanyel did, talking about the 12 tribes not being so, and that's a lie. That's part of the prophecy. All the 12 tribes coming back together, man. That's the main prophecy. Ezekiel 37, all right, and then in Revelation, the 7th chapter goes right with Ezekiel 37 or 38th chapter, when it's talking about the 2 sticks being brought back together, man. But this is Hosea 1 and 10. All right, because he's saying that they're done away with and it's to all men. No, it's not. All the other nations are going into captivity when the 12 tribes, when the 144,000 come on the scene, man. You better believe that. All right. This is Hosea 1 and 10. And it says, yet the number of the sons of Israel shall be as the sands of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. All right. No one has been saying that the Israelis are not the people. It's got nothing to do with them. Nor have the Israelis been identifying with being the tribes. Because the tabernacle of David is the 12 tribes coming back together. All right. His mighty man being built back up. And his army is going to be bigger than it was before. Because it's going to be 144,000 mighty men this time. They're going to be completely and totally unstoppable. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop them. Okay? You're either going to get down or get ran over. As simple as that. Okay? And it says, and in the place, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said to them, ye are the sons of the living power. And that's the beauty of what's going to happen. Because everyone's going to be forced to admit the truth. All these, and we're at that point to where we're about to see who's telling the truth and who's not. Okay? Verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah, all right, which is the southern kingdom, Levi, Benjamin, and Judah, and the children of Israel, which is the northern kingdom, all right, from Reuben all the way down to Issachar, okay, shall be gathered together and appoint themselves one head. That head is King David, man, okay, and shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. All right, because it says that we would also be looking for our king, man. They're not looking for no king over there. Okay. And so with that, I hope this was an edifying lesson. All right. And shalom.